feel you. I gotta be different with my kids though. When you raising two black kids, man, they gotta learn to respect authority, even when they don't. Like at least be able to think it out and react calmly. You can't just be like no. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because you'll get a spanking from us, but the police is gonna kill you. So
I lived in a certain town where they carried tiki torches and cars through people.
Yeah. I know the one.
I moved away from there right before that whole incident happened. And part of the reason that my husband and I left, part of it was I just hated living there. I had quit the job. It was just, no. The other part was there was a coworker who worked in the building with me, a black man who was always impeccably dressed, like way better than anybody else in the building. Like dude he was on fire. He had his look. I mean, always had his ID, everything. Because one day he came and he didn't have his card out and he was he left his card in the office or something. He couldn't get in the building and people wouldn't let him in. And I was like, oh, sure, yeah, they'll let him in with me. And he's like, you're the only person in 9 years who's ever not had to call inside to get somebody to verify, to let me in the building.
Wow.
Or like, I want to say 800 and some people worked in that building. 3 of them were black dudes. And only one of them came in with a look like that every day. And yet nobody would let him in the building.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's so crazy. Like with the stuff you go through, because I've literally, like, I'm in Chicago. You probably know that.
Yeah.
I lived in every part of Chicago, the worst part of Chicago and the great part of Chicago. Like I've lived in them all, just like randomly, you know what I mean? Nothing special, but I just was blessed enough to live in all parts of Chicago. And it was, okay, well, when I lived in the bad part of Chicago, the worst thing I had to deal with was police. In the bad part of Chicago, I'm talking about before they had body cameras, I'd seen them beat up so many people. I'm talking about investigations. They drive up to the basketball court, somebody say something slick or something disrespectful, I guess, to the cops, and the cop would just punch them. Like before they had body cameras, I'm punching people, like putting drugs on them that they didn't have. Something that they used to do in my neighborhood that I really disliked was, if you were from a neighborhood, even if you wasn't a gangbanger, if you like upset the police in any type of way, they'll put you in handcuffs, they'll put you in the car, they'll drive you to a rival gang's neighborhood, take you out the car, take the handcuffs off and say, this guy is a rival gang member, push you and drive off.
Oh my God.
They did that to so many people that the gang members actually got together and came up with a treaty of safe passage throughout Chicago because the police kept getting people beat up and killed. And one gang member, they got beat up, and the other gang, they're like, look, we can't allow this. If that happens, if the police do that, we're going to, have safe passage or whatever, right? But that was in the bad neighborhood, right? Now, when I got to live in a good neighborhood, anytime I would go outside for anything, if there was like a white couple in front of me, I used to always either slow down across the street because I could just feel their tension, like, oh, this guy's behind me. And I'm not a little guy, I'm a big guy, you know what I mean? I also like to joke and play around a lot, but they don't know that, Right. They just see a big black guy and they're just like, yo, let me get on the other side of the street. Let me walk faster. Like it was this one lady, and it makes me uncomfortable because I'm just trying to get to the store, lady. Well,
no doubt. And you don't know when some crazy Karen's gonna freaking call the police and lie about you either.
Or shoot you.
Right.
Like I remember one time, and man, I swear I would be dead right now if this lady had a gun. But I went to my car, right? Because my car, I parked at like it was around my job. So I parked at a parking lot around my job. I get inside of my car and I realized that I left my phone back at my job. So I drove my car back to my job. I used to work in this big building. And because I parked in a no parking spot, and downtown, the police, they own it, boy, they handing out tickets like crazy. I had to run up. I wanted to run up and get to my phone as fast as possible so I can get back to my car before I get a ticket. But I hopped out my car and I'm running. this white lady yelled and backed up like I was running toward her. And she was like reaching in her bag. And I'm just like, yo, lady, I'm just going to get my phone. I don't even know who you are.
That is crazy.
But it was just because I hopped out my car and I was running and I was moving fast. She thought that I was like, I guess, going to tackle her, or I don't know. But she started reaching in her bag. I'm like, oh, please don't pull out no gun.
Like, don't shoot me.
Stab me. Just let me go get my phone. You know what I mean? That's all I want. But this is something that I had, like, it was kind of like a little breakthrough I had with my therapist. First off, I'm Black in Chicago, in America. And I also was a Jehovah's Witness.
Double whammy. You want to make it 3?
Double whammy. Yeah, like, come on. What else?
Yeah.
Like, anything else. But to deal with both of those things in my life, I was dealing with a lot of, I came to a realization that it was not only regret, but I felt like I was being unfairly treated by everything. Like my life so far has been unfair to me. And that was something I was dealing with. Yeah. And in all those regards, once I realized that's the feelings I was battling with, and I didn't know I was walking around feeling like, man, this is not fair. It's not fair, because I got used to being mistreated. And when you get used to being mistreated, you put up this armor, and you put up this like, you can shut down really easily. You don't really live in the moment. You just always like in the circle pattern. You just never really live in.
So you don't get hurt.
Yeah. You never open up. And that's what I was dealing with for a long, long time. And it took me talking to a therapist to realize that was my thing. I felt like I was unfairly treated for so long that I just shut down, and I stopped living in the moment, and I stopped enjoying life to the fullest. I was always waiting for something that was nothing that was ever coming.
It's really interesting, like the flip side, because I'm like pretty much the opposite, right? I'm the incredibly white female born in the South. Like, I've been in the South my whole life.
Right.
And, the witnesses were, I don't know if they still are, but they were really big on, oh, we're not racist at all. And we're colorblind and blah, 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 which is totally not true, as you know.
Yeah.
But I thought that, that was a thing of the past and all of that stuff. But to realize, and it's really appalling to me how recently I had to come to the realization that, I didn't really know jack about it. And how could I have had this train wreck happening all around me my entire life and only just now been able to see it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, there's a derailment over there.
Yeah.
How did I miss that? And then to realize, you talk about having that you are the way that you have to raise your children because of your race.
Yeah.
We had to come to that realization too, because I'm raising 2 white men, and I'll be damned if they're going to grow up to be assholes like that.
Right.
Not having it. Mm-mm.
Hey, we in the Black community, we really thank you for that.
And I think there's a lot of people who grew up as I did, who are in the same place mentally, emotionally, like, tell us what to do to help with this. Or is this our problem? Is this something we need to fix? Like, what do we do? And then knowing that it's not up to people of other races or people of color to do that work for us.
Yeah.
At the same time, right? So it's like
I don't know, you brought us here.
right. I mean, why is it Jay's problem? I'm the one who
I'm getting punched. I'm like, yo, what do I need to do to stop punching you? Like, I don't know. Just stop. Nah.
Like, take your hands and put them in your pocket.
I give you some suggestions. Like in this country, black people have been through a lot, and it's at the point now, like right now, that I can honestly say, if we as Black people like really come together and we start doing critical thinking, you know, we could really overcome a lot of the stuff that goes on in this country. Because I think inherently that what it comes down to mostly is, and this is gonna sound crazy, but when it comes to racism, right? I think that most people in the world don't want to be racist. Like most people, they don't want to be considered racist. They don't think that they're racist. Even when they do racist things, they're like, I'm not racist, you know?
Well, that's
like,
not because that, it's
like,
just.
like I genuinely don't think that people wake up and they're just like, I hate Black people. Like, I don't think that's a thing. But what I think that is a thing is that systemically throughout this entire length of the country, we've lacked resources. We've lacked like opportunities and things like that. And because of that reason, it's not about race, it's about respect, you know? Like you don't respect a Black person. Not you. I'm not saying you do, but
I mean, I do, but
yeah, right. You're good. You're good. But a lot of people in this country, and they don't realize it, is they see a Black person and they're just like, well, what are you gonna do? You don't. I'm sure you don't have any family members who are lawyers or doctors or politicians or anybody who's a threat to me. And you probably yourself probably don't have enough money. If I wanted to sue you, I'm sure I could sue you and you couldn't do anything back. So since you're defenseless financially and you're defenseless economically and you're defenseless as far as like any power in this world, why do I have to respect you?
it's built through centuries of that crap. And if you look at our society in the US, just about everything is built on an angle, you know,
Yeah.
and it's angled for white people and against anybody else. And so you can look at anything. You can look at redlining. You can look at education and where the dollars go. I mean, all of those things.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was just thinking when you were talking, I wonder how many just Americans in general, Black and white, how many people in this country realize what this country would be without Black people.
Right.
I mean, look at it.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have 3/4 of the sports stars that we have. We wouldn't have 3/4 of the entertainment icons, the singers, the actors, the writers, all of the people, the things that make our culture interesting and vibrant and alive wouldn't even exist.
Yeah. A lot of those awards that were called, a lot of inventions. Yeah. A lot of the awards and a lot of the inventions. Yeah. It's like, it's like Black people have contributed a lot to this country. But at the same time, the respect, like I say, like if a police officer pulled me over, right? And he pulled over a white guy, the chances of that white guy being hurt is far less, because if you shoot a white guy, right? Let's just say you just shoot a random white guy. There's a really good chance that his family member is an attorney or state governor or, you know, like.
Or that the police are going to treat it like an actual crime.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to respond.
Exactly. But with me, they're like, you know, what's the worst that can happen if I shoot this guy?
I'll come after him and get their ass. How about that?
But usually it's just like, as long as I can find a justified reason to do it, all I need is and it ain't got to be a good one. Like a lot of people get off because the police just like, well, I thought he had a gun. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I just thought it.
And it wasn't on the scene anywhere.
Right. It was dark. I couldn't see. I thought he was reaching for
the news about the guy that the police officer shot him in his own garage?
Yeah, I saw it.
Had a cell phone in his hand?
Yeah.
And then let him lay there for 5 minutes without rendering aid?
Yep. He pulled up and before the sound came on, before he started recording, which is always funny, slick police, you get out. And the only reason they had it is because the camera has like a little backlog it does of like 30 seconds. But it's supposed to be protocol that once you arrive to the scene, you're supposed to start recording.
Immediately. Yeah.
Immediately. And but no, he didn't do that. The same thing happened. I forgot what the other situation was. Maybe they weren't allowed to wear body cams, but Breonna Taylor, they didn't record that incident either. And we just seeing that a lot. Like the cameras come on too late, or
Yep.
audio, it cuts off in weird positions. Did you see the one video where the cop said, well, you know, I had my car and I was just driving over protesters, and the other cop was like, He walked away. He came back. He like, the mic is on. He said, my camera's on. And the cop was like, well, I mean, I wasn't like actually hitting them. I'm just saying like I was.
Oh my God.
It's horrible. You haven't seen it? I'll send it to you.
No, that is awful.
Yeah, I saw that.
Talking to some coworkers about, you know, all of the things that have been going on as far as like all the protests. I mean, we had some pretty big ones here in Greensboro too. I feel like though, we might actually see something happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with all of the work that Martin Luther King Jr. did, things happened, but it wasn't enough.
No.
Right? I feel like at this point, maybe there's going to be another leap forward at this point. Maybe this is where we push it over the edge and say, look, this is the future cannot be this way.
Yeah.
You know, I guess hope springs eternal or whatever. Like, I want to believe that this is going to be something good.
Yeah. I think the more we just keep doing the right thing, the racists, I think they're going to just all die out. I just think,
I hope so. I mean, they're anyway, right?
Yeah. The more people, the more people who are educating and, you know, and teaching their kids the right thing and whatnot, and the more people are actually coming together and working out issues and stuff like that, the better off the next generation is going to be, you know?
Yeah,
and
it's true.
I think that like one of the struggles right now is that the internet is bringing the situation to daylight, you know, because a lot of people, they don't know about it. And with the open access to information and the video cameras and all this other stuff, like we've been saying for years, police was planting evidence on us and beating us up, and people were like,
oh no,
they do that,
don't commit crimes
on you, right? And that, I remember hearing that so many times. I was here in court. Why would this cop lie on you? And I'm just like, I don't know. That's a horrible question to ask a victim. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Why would this cop lie on you? Okay, let's go right in with that. All right.
Right, but when you start with, well, you did something to deserve this.
Yeah.
I can kind of identify with what you're saying. Like, oh hell no.
Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, that's whack. That's whack.
Yeah, people are jerks. What can you say?
Yeah. That's what we're dealing with, man.
No, and it's kind of like there's a parallel between like the police officers in some of these cases. And there are some good ones out there.
A lot of good ones.
Yes, there are really good police officers out there.
A lot of good.
Really bad ones. And just like there are good elders and bad elders, you know, I think the motivation for people to become elders or to become police officers is the same.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. And that's what it comes down to, because if you become a police officer because you want power, then you're probably not going to be a good police officer.
Bingo.
But if you become a police officer because you like helping people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be a hero. You sign up to be a hero, because I give police all the props I can when I can, you know? Like, I'm not going to front. If somebody is banging on my door trying to get in, I pay taxes. I am not going to pay somebody and then go fight my own battles. I'm calling police. If it's a naked man outside with a knife, if you think for a moment, I'm like, well, let me restore peace in the neighborhood. No, I'm not. I'm calling police.
But maybe you could be like Lot, you know, give him your kids. That's a good biblical example.
Right. Here, just put a shirt on, man. I'll let you play Uno with my kids, man. Come on. Just put a shirt on at least, you know. But man, it's like, I understand what they do. I understand the job that they have, and I understand like how hard that job is. All of those things I understand, but it's no excuse. Like, I remember this one joke that Chris Rock had. Like, police officers is just one of those jobs you can't be bad at. Like the same way a pilot can't be bad at his job, you know. He like, oh, well, I had those, couple air crashes, but that was it, Like, no, you can't crash airplanes at all. You got to constantly and consistently not crash airplanes.
Well, that's a good point. So what's the training? How does the training stack up, right? How much training does a pilot get versus how much training a police officer gets? What about a doctor?
Way more training than a police officer, like way more. They just want to make sure you're strong as a police officer.
Yeah, and you know how to use a firearm.
Exactly. But as far as like, they really need to do like mental checks on these dudes. But at the same time, it's also difficult because you still need a lot of police officers, Like the same way, you want to like be very thorough. You also need a ton of police officers, You can't have just a couple, like the best of the best. Like, so they're in a hard spot. They're in a hard spot. But even if they are in a hard spot, we still demand that treat people good and try not to take somebody's life.
Right.
That should be the goal always. Like, if you don't have to shoot him, like when they shot the kid, Laquan McDonald in Chicago, 16 times, and he had a knife and was walking away.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, come on, that's overkill. And then the guy didn't even get life in prison. He got like 7 years or something like that. Killed this kid. But it's stuff like that that's unforgivable. But as far as like policing and stuff like that, I know they have a hard job. And I've seen police do a lot of good,
Mm-hmm.
Like they taking up the job of being a hero,
Yeah.
Same way firefighters and other first responders, like they're signing up to be real life heroes. But with that comes a certain responsibility that you need to approach the job with. And it's a certain amount of love and respect you need to have. If you're having a bad day and you want to take it out on somebody, you might just need to just call, like do a mental health day or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd support police, like funding for like police to have more days off, and funding for police to have more treatment for abuse and just
like mental health.
Yeah, mental health and stuff like that.
Well, we need fewer guns. They don't need to be militarized.
They don't. Like they.
I saw that happen. Like I was working the university that I worked at right in the years after 9/11, when Homeland Security was established, and they were giving out all these grants to local law enforcement with like mobile command units and armored vehicles and all the tactical gear and crap that like Oconee County, South Carolina was applying for and getting this stuff. Like Barnwell, there's like 5 people there, and they've got all this gear. And I mean, you got
those 5 people get to acting up. They got to take
it out there like, oh, give me a vest and some gear. I'm a bad boy. We didn't need that.
Nah.
And it only made things worse. Like if you look at some of the countries in Europe, some of them their police don't even carry guns.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even have guns.
Yeah, don't need
Like that's a real cop. It's going to go out and do the job without lethal force.
That's right.
Because I feel like
in that part of Europe, like the people aren't allowed to have guns either, though.
No, and we don't need them. We don't need them. Honestly, we don't. I get Second Amendment, but you can defend yourself without having the instant ability to blow somebody's head off before you ask a question.
Yeah, I like guns.
I mean, I like them too. Don't get me wrong. I like target practice and I like the idea, but I don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to have one because I don't trust all these youths out here. They're crazy.
I don't. I think that should be like, there should be like better background checks, making sure ain't no Looney Tunes getting guns. If you can catch an obvious loony person if you can stop him from getting a gun, I think that's what we should do. But as far as like just my experience in America, I know about like men with hoods breaking in houses, like multiple people, and you by yourself. That little bat of that knife ain't gonna be enough.
Right. Not when everybody's got guns. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we went through the thing with our kids, like what would happen? Because I mean, little boys are all about like, if robbers came, what would we do? It's like, okay, here's what you do. Our house has multiple exits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get up out of
Find
there.
the nearest you, jump the hell out, go to the neighbors and call 911.
Right.
You're going to run. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. You run.
Like, get out.
I feel you on that. I feel you. But yeah, we just it's at a certain point where like people really need to start working with each other and stuff. And I'm seeing it more and more. I'm seeing a lot of people realizing the state that we are in as a country, and I think we're moving up. I think we're moving forward a tick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so too. And
If we could be-
especially, going forward 2021, we got a new president who knows a little bit about being a president.
Couple things,
Couple things.
I mean, it takes a little bit of the excitement off.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite such good comedy fodder, but
I know I'm gonna lose so much comedy, man.
I'll take it. I mean, we can go back to laughing at the witnesses full time,
I know. Actually, this might be a good thing because more attention can go to them.
Yeah, exactly.
But my late night comics, man, they were killing it for 4 years.
It's true. It's true.
Endless material for 4 years.